We're very happy to be here, and we're very much enjoying ourselves in Mumbai. We've just come from our round table discussion. This is something that we initiated in 2015 in the Getty Research Institute in Los Angeles, and it was the first time that we encouraged the various communities involved in the use of film, from artists, filmmakers, stock manufacturers, lab owners, the Academy for Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, festivals, education, to sit around museums as well, to sit around one table and to discuss with great concentration how we could keep film as a medium available for future generations. And this was the first of four. This is the first of four. The second one was in London. The third one happened in Mexico City without Chris. And then now we're in Mumbai, reframing the future of film 4.
Yeah, we had a very productive meeting this morning with a lot of different members of the Indian filmmaking community. And what Tasta and I have been trying to do with these meetings, where we bring together all the different facets of film production and exhibition, is to really make the case for the place that celluloid film will have in the future, in a post-digital world. And looking at the importance of film and celluloid film as a distinct medium, not as a technology that has been replaced by digital imaging, but as a creative medium that Tasta as an artist and myself as a narrative filmmaker that we depend upon. And we've had very productive coming together, in different filmmaking communities around the world, as Tasta said, starting with Hollywood and then going to Britain and now coming here to the largest film industry in the world, and really trying to engage filmmakers in this discussion about how we can maintain and improve and continue to enjoy a celluloid, photochemical, analog infrastructure for filmmaking. And the significance really of doing this with the Film Heritage Foundation.
It just strengthens our advocacy for celluloid as a preservation tool. I mean, we shouldn't forget, in India, till 2014, we were still shooting on film. I mean, when I shot Celluloid Man, I was so interested that it should be shot with different cameras. So I actually shot on every possible camera which existed, whether it was Super 8, 16, even a 70 Panavision, every possible. And it was because I wanted to experiment, because I knew that I'm dealing with a history of films, and with the history of films, what is fascinating for me is the transition of different periods which we have gone with, formats, and the change we have seen in terms of celluloid. And I wanted to have all that in one film, because I didn't know when will I get a chance to shoot different formats and different films. And I think that challenge to preserve different formats, the different forms of celluloid, I think that's something which is a challenge even now for us, because people are sort of digitally transferring films in a sort of format in India, especially for India, where everything is called HD, and we are disrespecting the aspect ratios. So for me, this dialogue was of utmost importance in projecting film, in shooting in film, and more importantly, for preservation. We have been reading reports everywhere of how many films are being lost or thrown, or I visit godowns, and you're just seeing a sad way celluloid has been neglected, and people have just moved on. So I hope their advocacy will help us to preserve this long history. I mean, till 2014 we were shooting on celluloid. Do you want to throw that away? So let's preserve that. Yeah. So that's what we were talking about. Yeah. Anything?
So do we take questions or we carry on?
Yeah. Do we take? That's it? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. What were the conversations?
No, continue.
Yeah. Just a quick conversation.
Okay, the first in the round table was divided into sort of 3 sections, and the first was about capture or filming. I should say that also amongst us was Jeff Clark, the CEO of Kodak, who in our Getty event came out and said that actually Kodak is absolutely committed to film. And this, and again in the public event that evening, and this was a moment where, you know, there had been a lot of you know, speculation that film was over, and actually to this day I keep being asked, does Kodak still make film? And they do, very much so. And so that alone is to try and stop the understanding that, or the misunderstanding that the film is not available anymore. It is available, it's very much available. And I think the whole point of this, and I'm an artist, so my context is within galleries and museums, and what's very important to me, and which is as something that's, having spoken to Chris a bit about this, is that a lot of filmmakers are not allowed to choose, you know, actually don't have the right to, or the authority to choose the medium with which they want to make their work. And in art, of course, in my world, you know, mediums, and I pluralize it deliberately to give it power, are what artists use. You know, we all know that artists use, you know, paint, they can use print, they can use photography, film, sculpture. That makes sense to everybody in this room. And for, you know, within cinema to be told you can only use digital was a very foolhardy thing. So this was the beginning of our discussion, was about how to encourage people to shoot on film again, and saying that it's available was the first thing. And also in a way to counteract the negativity about film, you know, the pessimism. And so that was, and then we moved on to exhibition. That, you know, it's very important that, you know, clearly cinema is in India and in much of the world in a mass way is become digital cinema. But that doesn't mean that film's not available in film, some theatres and archives and in museums, and also for special occasions like Dunkirk. And then the final thing was preservation. So we split it into these 3 areas. Say that. Well, for a start, we're going to stop talking about film versus digital. This whole reframing the future of film is to start bringing in film plus digital. We're living in a landscape where we can have both. You know, everything is about choice, so it's very strange on this one issue we should be reduced to just one option again, and it's all about choice. So I don't know if that answers the question, because I didn't quite hear it. But
because as an artist you should have the choice to decide the medium you want to shoot on. And that's what the dialogue is all about. That's what we are all looking at, that I should have the choice to preserve the film the way I want to preserve it. And I'm sure if I have made a film, I don't like to see celluloid, man. I try to push. I remember when it was chosen in Teleroid, and we had great friends there, and they said, it's too expensive to ship the print. I said, I'll offer to pay for it, but I'd rather have you watch in the way I've shot the film. And that's what we all aspire to be as creative people, is that we want the original format in which way we have shot the film to be seen in that.